as we had said earlier, Chuck and I decided to do a deep dive into the fairy realm. Does anybody,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this is another thing that I
This is a
didn't
big
believe.
topic.
I didn't believe in it until I started having bizarro things happening to me.
Well,
And when I say bizarro, I mean I began to see little people, and I don't do drugs. I went through a weed period. I confess, I'm over it. I'm clean. I don't do it. But I have seen some things, and we want to go into some specifics. Can you tell people, tell people what a fairy is cross culturally, and what we're talking about here? Let's talk about fairies, because this is a real thing.
Oh yeah. In fact, we had a lot of discussions about this when we were in Wales.
Yeah.
We had some fairy sightings. I always thought of them as just like little benign creatures in fairy tale books and Tinkerbell. No, much stronger than that. But what I have here, in my notes, that fairies are not always random nature beings. Many are deeply tied to ancestral lineages. They can bless, warn, or challenge families depending on how those relationships are honored or dishonored. And this reflects the old view that our ancestors in the spirit world of nature are closely intertwined. Remember when we were in Cardiff and we were talking about that, about how if they had a beef with our ancestors, they would take it out on us. They would still hold that grudge.
Yes, they don't forget. This is an energy that doesn't forget, to the 10th generation. So I am a Godwin. I am a Welsh woman. My grandfather was Harold Llewellyn Godwin. So I went back to my motherland, right? So I thought, okay, they're going to beat the crap out of me because the Godwins owned Wales, right? It was something like 12 earls that were the Godwins, and they owned that whole area. And the last Anglo-Saxon king of England was a Godwin, Harold Llewellyn Godwin, who my grandfather was named after. So I thought, well, I'm Harold Llewellyn Godwin's grandchild, so they're gonna beat the crap out of me. They're just gonna I'm gonna be buggered as soon as I go into a fairy field. Well,
you had me worried too, Whimsy. We were talking about that. Well, I thought, oh no, what's going to happen? But
okay,
we were fine. We
went to the Cardiff Castle, which is known to have several fairy mounds.
Yes.
Right. So it is known to have fairies all through. Entities live in, what is the name of the park? I can't remember.
The park. I know Cardiff Castle, the park, but I cannot think of the name of the park. I'm embarrassed. I cannot think of the name of it either. I just thought of it as Cardiff Castle Park. But it was beautiful, but I mean, bizarre at the same time, because it was also one time a cemetery.
Yes, that was pretty dead. There was a lot of dead body. But look, the people died in the castle. They just dumped them in the backyard, which makes complete sense that you would dump them in the backyard. But if it is, and here we can see this woman.
Oh, I loved her.
She is one of the people we communicated. She is a fairy communicator, and her job is to bring the fairies. This is what she does. And so she is an artist who brings fairies. And I'll just go ahead. Yeah. So she does these art pieces. There she has a castle for the fairies. You can see over to the right. Yeah. But this is something. So, you go to Cardiff, you're going to make contact with the fairy realm. So I was completely prepared for them to beat the crap out of me. But I did not experience that, Chuck.
No.
I can. The mirror on the left there to get away the evil spirits. Yes, that's a mirror over there.
Yeah. No, we talked about that a lot. And I felt just very benign energy, very friendly, if anything, hospitable. They were welcoming of us. It was a good energy. I didn't feel any kind of resistance, like get the hell off of my land, anything like that.
I did not feel that, and I did not. But I'll be honest with you. I was psychologically prepared.
I know you were.
For the crap is going to go down when the daughter is home. Yes. One of our own is here. Bloody awful woman.
Ew.
our awful family members and those bloody goblins. That was raping and pillaging all of the last Anglo-Saxon whatever. But,
Well, Whimsy, I think you have so much goodness in your heart and soul. That's what they picked up on.
that might be the nice Jewish side to me. But
I think so.
just an absolutely gorgeous park.
Oh, I wish I was there now. I missed that part.
I mean, loaded with fairies, and you definitely feel that you're connecting with the fairy realm when you're there. But also a lot of dead there, and we we communicated with both, including I've made contact with one fairy. I had a dream and made contact with one fairy. She identified herself as Claire. She is Claire of the Something Woods.
I love the name, Claire.
I know. I really like the name, and I had pieces of the memory, and I didn't discuss it with you. It didn't come out until later, but she's Claire of the Something Woods. Her family has lived in the Cardiff area for centuries. And it was interesting because in the astral realm, what Claire was saying is, well, we're like people, really, that we have that, male, female, they and thems, and we have our issues. But what she said is we are very attached to the lands. We will, like that particular park we went to. And so you don't go, you have certain manners. The park in Cardiff, now I have to remember, but she is attached to Butte Park. Thank you, Butte Park. So Claire, Claire's family, a lineage, is from the Butte Park area, and they travel all the way down into the water, this particular tribe of fairies. And according to this entity, we are very, very welcoming. We're very welcoming of the stranger. We're very tolerant of diversity, but don't disrespect our ways. Like, she didn't like trash on the ground. She didn't like the fact that people were throwing trash.
We saw a lot of trash on the ground.
But the other thing that Claire had said in the communication was, don't assume that every fairy tribe you come in contact with is friendly or wants to be friends with humans, and you will sense it. When you go into certain woods, if they are hostile or belligerent, and also they have different religious beliefs, just like people. Like some will worship.
I didn't know that.
Yes, some will worship dark entities. You go into those woods. Dark shamans or dark witches will go into those woods to make contracts with those fairies, and they are bad news. You don't want to mess with the witch that lives there, and you don't want to mess with the fairy realm that lives there. They are bad news. They have a contract, and it's not good. They will mess you up. But don't be, what she was saying is, we're just like people. Just like the Hatfields and the McCoys, where you go up into the Appalachia and you'll meet feral people that have never had contact with the civilized world. They were born feral, they'll die feral. And you don't go up into some places of Appalachia, they will take you out. And what she was saying is, we are like people. Some of us are feral, deep woods. We don't want you coming into our area. And the people that deal with us, they're bad news, and the fairies are bad news. So she presented it as, some of us are good and some of us are not good. But but she said the ones of Butte Fairy are benign. And when you do,
that's what I felt.
She said if you occasionally a dark spirit will come passing through Butte, but she said those are passerbys and they usually don't stay in that area.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting also.
Well, also we were talking about how it might have been a very different energy if we'd gone into that park at nighttime. Do you feel it would have? That's when.
Well, I think that goes back to the communication with Claire, that they're passerbys, they're phantoms that pass by, and they pass by because they're looking for it to drain energy. Maybe they're looking to possess somebody, like a homeless person or a drunk or something like that. So you'll have these phantoms showing up, these passerby, earthbound spirits that are coming to make trouble. But that's different than the fairy realm that lives in that area. And could you talk a little bit to the audience about what we found out the function of fairies was, why these energetic beings exist? Can you talk a little bit?
Well, I mean, there are a number of reasons the fairies exist. Like I was just going to say, how you communicate with plants and herbs. I was reading something online that fairies are like an in between to help us to receive messages from plants, from herbs. I don't know if you've ever had that experience.
Yeah,
So
and
this has been
also
much
they
more of
have a
that.
they are the energy, they just as we water and tend the plants, the fairies tend the energetic needs of the plants. And if
Yeah,
you want to connect with the fairy realm, um,
yeah,
create a world that is pleasing to the fairies, because they'll
yeah,
move in, they'll, particularly if they're losing land. That's another thing that Claire has talked about and other
yeah,
fairies have talked about, is that they're losing land when the bulldozers come in, when they start chopping down trees. They have a symbiotic energetic relationship with
hmm,
the plant kingdom. We tear down the trees, so they're losing land. So the fairies are actually lose the and in that
yeah.
sense, the magical realm is leaving the earth.
Right. It's almost making me think of animals in the rainforest, losing their land.
Right.
Polar bears losing their ice in Antarctica. You can go on and on. And as that goes, they go. The bees are diminishing.
Yes, yes. So she was saying the same thing, that they're kind of being pulled away, and that for her, it's like a dissipation of the energy when they die, because they no longer have the nature realm to anchor them and
Yeah,
sustain them. And so if they can't find a new place to live, they simply will fade away. And,
yeah,
and so we are losing magic. And the more we
yeah,
can plant eco-friendly, lands that are friendly to the birds and the bees, that are helping the ecosystem, if we can
hmm,
do that, then it will help this energetic realm survive. And there are different entities that exist. The fairy realm is closely related to the fairies. It also can communicate with you through the plants. People who
yeah,
smoke marijuana, for example,
hmm,
often will communicate with these entities, and they'll often
hmm,
go vegan or vegetarian, because
hmm.
one of the things the fairies like is they encourage being environmentally friendly. So a lot of people will
Yes,
go vegan, vegetarian, or they'll start reducing the amount of animal products they consume. Certainly, they want responsible animal husbandry and care for
hmm,
the animals.
yeah,
But yeah, just planting and creating an ecosystem
hmm,
that they can survive in, because just as we need water and air, they need
hmm.
the plant kingdom to survive. I just blew my mind that
It
that
is.
communication. This is the second time I've had a communication like that, and it was very
Something tells
interesting.
me you're going to have more. I
Well,
think I am too, and I think
after
people in our audience will. I
after I
just
had
got that feeling.
a dream, the astral dreams with this Claire entity, I was thinking, does she want me to write a book about this? Does she want me to
Yes.
channel communications with Claire? Because
Hmm.
I don't, and I
I'm
love
going to say
that
yes.
name. I've never even heard that name before, Claire.
Oh, I've heard the
I,
name, but
it's a lovely name, isn't
I
it?
feel strongly. I think that's one of the reasons you and I were so guided to go to Cardiff, to go to that park, to have these communications. I think the fairies know that you are a public figure. You're in a position, we both are, where we can get these messages out to the people to
Yeah.
spread the
So
word. That's what I feel.
take care of the ecosystem. Create safe spaces where you live. Like as I have plants growing in my home.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of space, but I do have plants in my home, because I understand the importance of this, creating oxygen and bringing plants to the world.
Yes. Yes.